Let's get the show on the road. We're gonna call the meeting to order at 5:03. Do we have, can somebody make a motion to approve the minutes of,
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
oh, Brian's here too. Hello, Brian. Okay. Were there any comments, corrections? No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right, we'll approve the minutes. So what Jay sent me was an email with a bunch of information and updates with a few sort of to-do items that I thought maybe we could just talk about. They're all basically all the things under his update. So we'll just, what I think I'll do is I'll just read until we have an action item and then we'll stop and talk about it. And then I'll keep reading. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, so his update started with plastic bags. As of yesterday, we have turned in 114 pounds of plastic. I've been in contact with Trex to clarify what is and what is not acceptable. I would like to work with you, I think that might be me, to put together some handouts and signs to go at the transfer station and behind town hall. FYI, Jim is having a cover built for the plastic recycling boxes. So let's just talk about the plastic for a second. I was tasked with putting one of the little videos on the website, and I did figure out how to do that. So it's on our sustainable page. I was at the selectmen's meeting, I don't know, last week or the week before, and Jay was kind of talking about, it's a little unclear, the film plastic recycling. There are a few items on their flyer, which I didn't bring down, that say you can recycle them, but they don't seem to follow their rules about what you can and can't. So I am gonna suggest, kind of like the video does. It basically has two rules. If it stretches,
Judges, yeah.
you can recycle it. If it crinkles, you can't.
Like-
Right? It's just pretty straightforward. All the
Like a
film
cereal
plastic has to have like a stretchiness to it. But then it says on the flyer that the liners of a cereal box are recyclable, but those.
And they crinkle
No.
and
they
don't
crinkle
stretch.
and stretch.
Right.
So I think we should
Right.
just go with the when in doubt, throw it out model and not contaminate the plastic
Yeah.
and not worry about the liners of
Yeah, I
cereal
would.
boxes.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it probably represents such a small
Okay.
amount. Let's just make it clear. Stretchy, no crinkling. If it meets that criteria, put it in.
With
Put it in.
exceptions to the rule.
Well, I'm thinking the more exceptions you have, the more confusion
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
I would vote to just keep it simple so
Yeah,
that
I know.
we don't have bags of it rejected.
Yeah,
Right.
But and I think he spoke with Liz at the transfer station. So we can talk to her to, I've been on the Trex website. I've watched all their videos. I mean, and some of them are about the supply side and some are about what they do with it. And so just trying to find just the nugget about
What's acceptable?
what's acceptable is a little tricky, but I think that's the clearest way to go about it.
Yeah.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so plastic. I'm just gonna write, keep it simple. Next, glass. It says, a glass recycling container has been placed behind town hall. We need to publicize that it's there. And, we need to publicize that it's there. Oh, and plastic containers, that's what so the plastic, for the film plastic is also going back there.
Not those black ones though, right?
Black.
No, the plastic containers.
No, yeah, this is not your regular plastic, this is just the film plastic. Like we have out in the lobby here. Okay. So that's a little to-do item, we need to just publicize that the glass can now be collected behind town hall, which is great because we've talked about how. You know, if you're working out of town, the only day you can really get to the transfer station is on Saturday from 9 to 2, so hopefully it'll make it easier for people.
mm-hmm.
All right, the next item, food waste. He said Jim and I have agreed to put a couple of food waste containers behind town hall with the glass and plastic containers. can you, again, I think that's me, call the food waste company and ask them to bring at least 2 to town hall? We need to figure out how to keep them locked with a key available for people to use. I remember you had a good idea on how to do that. So when I spoke, when I called the, what is the company called? Well, anyway, the people who come and collect the food scraps. I asked them about animal-proof containers left unattended, and they gave me the names of several towns that have them out in parks. Where people have access all the time and they haven't had a problem with people putting weird stuff in there or abusing it. So, so we were gonna give it a try, so I'll just call them and try to get 2 containers. The locking was really just to keep the animals out. So we talked about if you need a key, I'll see what they have. If you need a key, we talked about just hanging the key on the container. So that it's, right there. If they need like a lock combination, we'll just write the code on the container. So we'll just make it easy.
User friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for people to get in. So the idea is for it to be animal proof.
And then they have to push the button that says, I'm not a robot.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
yeah, so
I'm a bot.
this is really funny.
Not a
My
robot,
to-do
robot.
list is getting really long. So I will do that. Any other thoughts or questions about that? I have to say, I'm also on the board over at Judy Black, and they had been talking about trying to figure out how to provide food scrap composting at the farmer's market. But it seemed cumbersome, and when I told them that we might be offering it here, then they thought, oh, well, maybe they could either just wheel a container over for the farmer's
Yeah.
market to make it visible, which
Yeah.
I think is also a great public.
Yeah,
service
that'd be
announcement.
great.
And
Right,
then wheel it back, then you're not like driving around with food scraps in your car.
people are seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or making a sign saying, bring your food scrap, either publicizing that it's here.
Mhm.
Or wheeling it over for just the farmer's market, or, gauging the interest
Right.
in that before we go to huge trouble. So,
Well, if we wheel it over and then we have a little sign, this will be behind the town.
Yeah.
hall.
yeah, so maybe even if we just did it for 4 weeks or something, to get some
Get
people
people-
for the awareness.
Yeah.
So again, that's another awareness thing, so. Plastic bags, glass and food waste, all awareness, items, so maybe that'll be a good for the next newsletter. Right now, there's so many events going on that I don't know that, information in the selectmen's email, I feel like might be lost.
So is that lost in there?
I mean, we could try, but yeah, we can look at how to, well, and starting July 1, we'll have a new budget.
That was my next question.
It's,
Did we pass with our 10K request?
we did.
20, right? Wasn't it 20?
I believe it was 10, but don't quote me on that. I've had a lot of numbers floating around in my head. I think it was 10. This year was 5, so it was a
Yeah.
doubling.
Did we
Right.
spend it all?
I think we have 400 left, which we're gonna talk about in a couple items down. So we could do a postcard, like I'm kind of thinking with some of the. Like the kind of postcard you keep, like an informational about the transfer station and the recycling, what's in and what's out, and what can and cannot be recycled. I don't know, we may or may not decide that's worth the money, but.
Depends on who-
Well, we
Those
have,
kinds of things go on a refrigerator.
we have
pretty-
things on our refrigerator for
Yeah.
reminder. I mean, we could call it your refrigerator art
Yeah,
or something
I-
like that.
I mean,
Post this on your refrigerator as a reminder, or, whatever. But I think that's a good way to go. I think that would be money well spent.
okay, so let's talk, because we have a lot to kind of. Promote, and I have to say, having just done the Earth Day and the Garden Palooza, and what did I do? Composting for the WBA and the Montessori Earth Day, like talking to people, they just still don't know.
People do not engage. I mean, we talk about the repetition and we have to do it.
It's remarkable. I
Because
feel like
you
we've
can't-
done it,
This
and
one time out there
Yeah.
is not
Yeah,
gonna
no.
do it.
No.
so
So, yeah,
So
I
we
think.
can talk about it. I mean, the postcard, depending on the size, we're talking about $1,200 printing and mailing.
Let's
So-
do it.
I think so.
You know,
Let's do it.
let's,
That-
And maybe
that
we
one
could do
day-
like could we put a sign out? You know, do you know where your postcard is?
Yeah.
did you get your
Did
postcard?
you get your postcard? Did you read it?
I mean, the one-
10
Did you
o'clock.
save it? Is it on your fridge?
Yeah.
That one that you sent out recently with all the activities.
Yes.
That was a great one.
Thank you. That's supposed to also be saved, put on your fridge.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
you
that's-
want.
And that's kind of,
Yeah,
that's the
as
size I'm
reference.
thinking, like a larger,
Hmm.
you know, and that was, I forget, it's roughly $600 to print and $600 to mail. give or
Yeah, I
take.
think that's
So
money well
we could
spent.
maybe do it a little bigger and just, you know, put a little, save this postcard.
Yeah,
And just
so
have
they- yeah,
the
so
transfer
they
station
know
hours,
what's-
what's,
Yeah.
where,
all
what
the
you can bring
hours.
where.
I do
How
think
to
so.
get
I
there,
think that's
Give
important.
them it all.
All right, so we can, so, you know, for the next meeting, we can, kind of talk about that. Maybe we can work on some layouts.
The layups.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
okay. So next item on Jay's list here, invasive species. Jim has sent the intern job description to FAA, which is. I wonder if he did it through Chippewa or if like like a larger chapter, but that's the.
Future Farmers of America.
Yeah, but they call it something else. It's like something in agriculture. It's like not
Okay.
just farmers, but
Okay,
anyway, I think it's, you know, agri-science student. He said, but I don't think we've heard anything from them.
From Chicago?
So, yeah, and I see Brian, you're here. You all got somebody to do invasive species for you, right?
Not specifically, but we've got our regular crew of 6 interns.
Okay,
I know Conservation Commission is not hiring an intern this year. So, last year they hired the intern that did something somewhere. We'd be very interested in, the town's intern perhaps, surveying town properties along the Chippewa for the Japanese knotweed.
yeah,
We did our properties last year, the 8 miles that we have. And so if the town did theirs for knotweed and the public grounds like the primary school and the other areas, then we'd have a pretty good idea of the scope of knotweed in the town, besides being everywhere. And and maybe develop some short and long-term plans for it.
so I guess, help me figure this out then, I'm confused, I'm reading what he said. He said, Jim has sent the intern job description. So, but you just said they're not hiring somebody.
Conservation Commission.
Oh, conservation's not, but the town is? I thought that
Well,
was.
that's what I was hoping to find out tonight.
Yeah,
There was confusion last year in that the Conservation Commission hired somebody, but the town didn't. So maybe if conservation isn't, now it's over to the town.
okay.
You-
Interesting. So I feel like. We'll need to ask, I don't know where this job description came from, if it's the one that conservation used last year. But, you got 6, like where did you guys advertise like a job, like Indeed or whatever?
No, we put it on our website. Jim, y'all announced it through the Selectmen's newsletter. We put out to there's a network of state colleges and universities that has a job board that we posted on. A couple of these interns were with us last year and came back this year. Some of them are new.
Okay, so you were on your website.
Yeah,
Selectmen-
our social media, we did our networks.
Yeah, which yours are pretty large, but I feel like, I'm wondering, the college ones seems like probably. Is something missing here.
Yeah, it's a little late now, but
Yeah,
They're out.
late for this summer, but maybe. I just feel like. we could work together. If we're really looking for kind of the same things, you know, we can share the advertising costs and, you know, interview you guys like,
Yeah.
was there a pool like, did you get more than 6 and you didn't take them all and could we?
Right, and some of them, some we offered, but they found other positions. I can ask our staff if they know of anybody or if any of their applicants are still looking for work for an internship.
That would be great. And then let's maybe try to be coordinated for next year, you know, so that we're not duplicating efforts and maybe we can share the cost of getting that advertisement out there. If in fact your job description and our job description line up pretty well, I have no idea. I'm guessing they would, but.
We helped Conservation Commission draft an invasive specific description last year.
Okay,
I think Jim had it too, I thought. Our interns do more than just invasives.
yeah,
So some of them
They
are
probably do
conservation
trail
science, some are
Yeah.
trails and preserves. But none of them are specifically around invasives.
okay. Are your interns paid?
Yep,
Okay, yeah, just checking.
I don't believe in free internships. I think that's exploitation.
I agree, I just wanted to make sure so that we aren't, so that we're comparing apples to apples. I'm assuming ours are paid too, but again, I don't know. So we'll follow up with Jay and Jim to see where that is and maybe, you know, work together.
We're happy to work with them for, you know, a couple of days to train them like we did last year.
That's awesome. Well, since we don't seem to have anybody yet, but thank you for that. That's wonderful. It makes sense. And you know, that we're also all working sort of off the same playbook here. We're trying to, and by prioritizing, you know,
Yep.
it wouldn't make sense for you to prioritize not weed and we prioritize something else. So, yeah. All right, good. Well, we'll check back in on that. Good, so, all right, next on his list, town actions, truck. We have bought an electric truck for Mark to use. Mark is our buildings, manager, I don't know what, property manager, who oversees all the different properties.
Right,
So that's good, yep, because I'm sure he's,
what kind of truck?
I don't know, just says electric. Jim is having a charger installed for him to use. We got an excellent deal through a program we learned about. Okay, I don't know. That reminds me. So the electric charger out in the depot is still not working, which is very frustrating. Because the company went out of business and.
Did you get another company?
Well, yeah, so, but it's their unit that's installed and it's the software for the charging, so they're working on it. Everybody who had one of those is in the same boat. But I guess we just need to. I think we just need to make sure it stays on the top of the pile, you know, because I don't know who's looking into that, but we need to follow up on that. So water bottle filling stations, please update the committee on the 2 we have installed. So a couple years ago, we put money into the town budget. I think it was 8,000, 7,000, 8,000 for public water bottle filling. We put one at Legion Hall with the Welcome Center. So that's open 7 days a week, 9 to 4. Or Saturday and Sunday, the hours are kind of 9 to 4, but not exactly, because it's Liz who opens it. But it follows like the business hours. It's probably closer to like 10 to 3 on Sunday and 4 on Saturday or something.
Okay,
So that there's access to that year round because those doors are open. And then we just got the one at Judy Black installed.
right.
Judy Black Park paid for the installation. But the town helped pay for the unit. So it was about a 50-50 split on that project.
Good.
And that is a 3 season, it just, the water gets turned off in the winter.
Hmm.
So that's really exciting. So we
Yeah,
need to
that's
know,
great.
I
That is
took
good.
a picture, I should have shared it with everybody. I'll do that. Like 2 days after it was in, cause I walk through there all the time, I saw a biker going up filling 2 of his water bottles. So great.
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure people know that it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's, one of the things we'll publicize.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. And and reminding people to carry your own water bottle. You don't need
Yes.
to keep buying plastic ones, because that's kind of the idea, is to reduce the single-use plastic.
Yes.
Okay, next on Jay's list here, water testing. It says Hugh can update us. We kind of talked about that when you were walking in about
yeah,
the challenges with the company and the reporting.
yeah.
We'll work on that for next time.
Yeah, part of what I was gonna report on has to do with water. I sent you the Aquarian website.
Yes.
So basically, the shorthand there is that there are 3 systems, aquariums systems in town. There's one in town. There's one called, well, I guess that's called the Judea Main System.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm just looking, Judea Depot System, which is very high in salt. And actually, according to Blue Penny, who I stopped to see. Because Chris Charles had reported that Blue Penny knew where the wells were.
Mhm.
The one that you've mentioned,
Yeah, that,
Blue Penny referred to, it's right by Titus Park
yep,
Garage.
yep.
That one has been shut down. That is the contaminated one. They're not
Ah.
drawing from it anymore.
Okay,
This is what Lou says, they stopped taking from it a number of years ago. But the other wells, Judea Main System and the Quarry Ridge System, the wells are right next to Lou Penny's house. If you know where he lives here on Cook Street,
okay. Good.
right next to his house, there's a ramp, asphalt covered ramp, looks like a driveway. At the bottom of it are, 2 sort of sheds that come out of the ground. And, one of them is a kind of a maintenance shed. One of them has one of the wells in it. And then another one of the wells is just 20 feet away and it's doesn't have a shed around it. So it's right there. So that's where the other 2 wells are. And, those all come in fine with regard to chloride and sodium. Except there are footnotes for copper and lead that, when you look into the fine print, indicate that copper and lead are above the safe level, but below action level.
Interesting.
So in other words, the water company doesn't have to do anything about it. And, so that's both for the Judea Main and Quarry Ridge.
So Judea Main, that's not the one up on the green, is it, or is it?
Oh,
Judea,
as far as I know, there aren't any on the green.
no, Aquarian has
Oh,
water up there.
There's a system up there, yeah, but
Yeah.
the well. The well, I get, the Judea Main System well. Must be one of these 2 behind Lou Penny's house.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
unless
weird
they
to
have.
me, cause that used to be called the Judea Water System up
Yeah,
there, so
no,
it's confusing to me. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're
I'm aware
wells.
that there's a distribution, piping, all that up there. And it would make sense that there would be a well up there too.
There is
There
a
is.
well up there, yeah,
Okay,
so
well,
I don't
see,
know, so.
And that's something to find out about.
Well, and the one that you said was high in sodium, where is that one? If it's not
That,
Blue
he
Pennies.
said that's the one located, if you go to Titus Park Garage, you'll notice it's like a square thing. Right on the little island of grass,
Oh, yeah, I thought you said they're not using that anymore.
but you're right, they're not.
Oh, so there
The one
is
in-
no water that's high in sodium being used.
According to Lou,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Okay.
Okay,
so I just wanted to let you know that information was really helpful. I shared it with the buildings people at Judy Black Park, because that water for the water fountain is on the depot water.
yeah,
And so they wanted to check that. They also had it tested just to make sure, since it's very, everybody's drinking it.
Wouldn't they have it tested by? Maybe we could use their company.
Well, except it cost them $560.
Oh, that's a lot.
So I was like, wow, I don't know, they went through their like plumber or somebody.
Oh, okay.
Who had somebody, I have no idea, but,
Pretty different.
so anyway, they wanted to just double check to make sure that was safe, but it's nice to know that there's like a public site for the aquarium water, so.
And one other note, PFAS were not detected in the main Judea main system or the Quarry Ridge system, but they were detected in the depot, the well behind Titus, the now defunct well.
Why
So-
is he reporting on it if it's
Yeah,
defunct? That's confusing.
Yeah,
Well, maybe they're required to. I'm not sure. The state may require them to, continue to post information on it.
I think that's weird. But
Unless,
okay.
I mean, and there's, I'm connecting these systems sort of logically in my mind. The Quarry Ridge has got to be somewhere up near Quarry Ridge.
Yeah, I would think.
But I don't know.
Cause I don't, why would they run lines all the way out there and not offer water to every household along the way? So I think there must be another well up there and
Quarry
I
Ridge?
know, yeah, up near Quarry Ridge.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I,
So the
So-
Judea main wells that are using here,
mhm.
that are both being used over on Cook Street. Where would they supply? Would they be pumping up to the church? No.
No,
because you said they're
No,
gonna-
because they have a well up there.
There's a well up there and when they were fixing the pipes, it
Uh-huh.
goes down Wickham Road. So all of Wickham,
Oh, that's right. I saw that. It was a couple
right?
summers
Remember
ago.
that?
They were
Yeah,
talking-
and there's a
Yeah.
big, and it says aquarium, like there's a drive-in with a gate.
Yeah,
Sort of where Wickham and Bell Hill
Mhm.
come together. I'm guessing that's where their wells are. Because Aquarian does not offer water between the Green and the depot coming down Green Hill.
okay.
So,
Well, during the course of that Wickham controversy too, my understanding was that the LLC under Clower had Aquarian drill a well.
yeah, they had to drill another well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
for fire
Hmm.
and use.
So
So
it's question in my mind is, so what is the Judea main system?
I don't know why they would call it, I feel like Judea's up on the
Up
Green
on the hill.
and then
okay.
there's a depot system. And
Quarry
then,
Ridge
and then the
is
Quarry
over-
Ridge.
Yeah,
And it's interesting, I'm wondering if they supply, McGat Road, the Habitat houses as well. I don't know if they have a whole bunch of wells over there, if they're on Aquarian,
I don't know.
I'll have to find out, but, and I'm not completely 100% convinced they're not, that Titus well is defunct.
Okay,
Because when we were getting the land surveyed, because the town owns that land, we were wondering what that was and can we move it? And Aquarian was contacted as
Yeah.
the owner.
right,
I don't remember them talking about it being in use, but
okay.
I could be wrong. So I feel like
Maybe that might
before we say
explain
that
why
that's
they're still reporting the results.
right,
because
like
it
to
is
me,
not.
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
So maybe that was just sort of
although,
a
yeah.
rumor. I don't know. So we might want to confirm, but the data was really helpful for any.
well, yeah, but now you're making, it's question is, if that well is not being used, well, then that's good, because it's very high in sodium, et cetera. But if it is being used, then lots of people are drinking it, and we should. you
And I
know,
wonder where, yeah, who,
So, we don't
Well,
know,
who are the wells that are, have problems but not actionable problems?
that well
One
in
by
town,
Lupinis?
the Titus well, because it was contaminated by the salt piles. And,
No.
oh, I thought.
No,
you
no, no,
said
no,
that
that's
was
not what
the-
I'm
Oh,
asking.
okay,
You
what do you
said
want?
one of the wells had some high something, but not,
No,
Yeah.
copper and lead, you said,
yeah,
which was
but
high,
not,
but not actionable.
okay.
but not actionable. Which
Right,
well is that?
those were both for the main system and for the Quarry Ridge system.
The town depot system and the Quarry Ridge system?
Judea, Maine, Judea, Maine footnotes for copper and lead above safe level, but below action level.
Judea is up on the hill?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think we don't
Well,
know.
I don't know.
I think we need to, I think it
Yeah.
might be useful, just since we're talking as a committee about water and water quality.
yeah, let's know for
Let's-
sure.
Let's maybe contact Aquarian and just figure out, which I think they're not allowed to tell you exactly which houses are on their water. It's like private information, but the town can ask, or there was some, I
Yeah,
remember
whatever.
trying to ask once.
Okay,
With-
But it
with
would
the
be nice to
thinking that
know.
Water companies were allowed to keep a lot of their records secret and only had to reveal anything if a Freedom of Information Act suit was filed. And even then, it didn't always happen.
Yeah, so,
So, anyway,
yeah, so let's just see what we can find out,
yeah,
about
because we should know exactly.
where the, what, yeah, where those reports are for. Even if we don't know house by house, but at least roughly. So we can, follow up
Okay,
on Aquarian. Last thing on Jay's list. It says noise ordinance. He said, I really want. Excuse me. I really want to work on this and I would like to be sure the committee wants to as well. I'm willing to put together a draft for the committee to review for our next meeting. I thought we had decided as a committee to not pursue the noise as much as trying to talk to the landscape companies and trying to get them to switch to electric.
less noisy.
Yeah, and we were gonna do some research on whether commercial companies could actually do that, and I found this article.
Yeah, I found an article.
Did you find one too?
Same
And
one.
Hugh, you went up. to-
Mine was in a journal called Landscape Management. What was yours?
Landscape. This was quite extensive. This is all in Westport. And they went green, they went electric,
Awesome.
and it's a great article. And I don't see any reason why we can.
Okay, so,
And I'd like to bring it up again because West Shore Road is just leaf blowers all summer long. It just never stops. And this is a very good article and they apparently got the support of everyone. Even though it's kind of expensive to switch over,
mhm.
you know, that's the big rub.
Well, and that's where we had talked about, you know,
A
a
tax
proper,
incentive.
a tax
Yeah.
abatement, which I found.
That's
I think that's a great
Precedent for it.
connection,
So
yeah.
and I need to talk to Jay because when I was looking at the tax abatements, there's this weird ordinance on the books about tax. Property tax, relief for solar panels, but it's like expired 20 years ago or something weird. So we just need to clean that up off the books, but, or renew it,
Hmm.
but,
Okay.
I just feel like I remember, we'll talk to Jay when he gets back, but because of state statute, we can't,
It's not enforceable by us, yeah.
we can't do much about the noise. Like, I think just saying they can't start until 7 AM is really not the solution. It's still early in my book.
7 to 7 is a little much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I thought we were gonna push for the battery paddle, so I think that would be great. Actually, Carol,
where is that? Where did you
Yeah.
read that article?
This
Where's
is
that?
from the Hartford Current.
so maybe if I could either scan it or find it and share it with everyone?
Yeah. I would
yeah,
love to
I'd
see
like that.
So it was the Hartford Current, Monday, June 10th,
Oh, wow.
in section
So
1.
it's recent, so we can maybe look into
can just give you
Westport,
this.
yeah, give it to me and I'll share it with the committee.
It's a
We
good
can look
article.
at how they did it.
Yeah,
It's
Um,
and
follow along.
Westport, you know,
I found this article and we can also talk, it was in landscape management, because the question I was asking is, can they go electric? And
Yeah.
basically what they said is, California already passed the law saying you have to, and apparently New York is considering it, so it's
Yeah.
coming. So maybe we just say, hey, look, this is coming, let's get ahead of it. And then they said, I'm not gonna read this whole thing, where were those highlights? Client expectation, customer base, demands, right? Basically, what they said is that it pollutes less, it's quieter, and it's almost as effective. So that the equipment's not quite as
Mhm.
powerful and effective as the gas powered, but that it's close enough that, they felt that
That's got
it's
good
time,
performance.
yeah, it's
Well,
gonna
in this
go.
article, they were able to, actually mulch with the electric mowers, mulch,
I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I was impressed with that.
yeah.
Didn't you go, where did you go?
So I went to Home Depot and I went to the Still dealer in
I have a
Ridgefield.
couple of those, I have an electric.
Yeah, so basically, there is commercial equipment available. That can handle it. It's gonna cost more,
It's expensive, yeah.
but. The residential stuff is not that expensive. So I can just pass some of this around. But all of it, which I was really glad to see. Is, and I also went to Home Depot, and that's what these white sheets are with prices. But, and then there's a little price list here that I didn't have him, he printed out for me a whole bunch of different mowers, okay?
Mhm.
So a walk behind mower, you can get one you have to push. Or one that is self-propelled, both electric, either way you want that. You can get a zero turn mower, you know, the levers where
Yep,
they
yep,
just
yep.
whip around.
Mhm.
That's all in here, and you can also get your basic tractor, the one you see around everywhere, that's also electric, and that's in here too with prices.
That's for the homeowner.
These are
Yeah,
the
for the
homeowners,
homeowner.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So we were also interested in
I think it's the
in
commercial.
the
that-
industrial,
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
it'd be really-
industrial.
Well, they,
Still has a whole section here on commercial grade, and you can take a look at that too. That's the dealer in Litchfield, this is the price list for those things. They offer, just look at my notes here, I talked with the man there, and, he said, this is another company altogether, but, Still actually offers a 10% off if you're buying $2,500 and up, and 20% off if you're buying $5,000 and up for a fleet.
Mhm.
So you could just. All of a
Okay,
sudden,
so,
You
buy,
know, when you
buy
put
your,
that on top of the town giving you a discount on your
Yeah,
taxes.
on the-
yeah,
that's a
right,
double bubble.
right.
So the other conversation we had is how do we reach all these people? We were gonna have some kind of a forum and bring these people in and say,
Yeah.
this is what we'd like to offer you. I mean, now we have to sort of reach out to these
I
folks.
think you have to literally go out, and when they're out there, go and approach them, find out who the boss is and get their name and tell them we're gonna have
Yeah.
a meeting or something.
Yeah.
So before the meeting, I was like, oh, right, I was gonna do that, and I looked up the landscaping companies that are listed for Washington. And because a lot of the landscaping companies that are coming into town are from out of town.
Right.
But they're registering in Washington,
But if they're doing work in
they're
Washington,
supposed to.
No, not necessarily. You just have to be registered in a town, but so the property tax incentive wouldn't really apply to them. So, but I know the people at one of them, so I was just gonna call them and ask them. But, so I think talking to some of the commercial companies and just gauging
well, how
their
does Westport
interest.
do it?
Yeah, well, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
We'll
what I
fi-
wanna find
We'll
out.
find out how they did
Yeah.
it.
Oh, good,
And I think start reaching out to them, maybe even
Yeah.
invite somebody to come to our meeting and just saying, what are the barriers? Maybe
Yeah, how did
we
you?
end up
every day.
using,
Okay.
maybe we end up setting up a fund where they can, like a 0% interest loan with the town to help buy the equipment that they pay back over
Yeah, that'd be
time or
awesome.
something. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know. So that, because equipment is a capital
yeah,
investment upfront.
and the commercial stuff is viable, but. You have to have these racks of battery packs on your truck that run off an inverter on your truck, so. Your truck is gonna be idling.
Oh. Which is the
There's
last thing
that.
we need to talk about before we go.
Anyway, just to let you know, that's where we're at with that.
Oh, boy.
Unless,
The-
like if we had a battery station here in town or something, you could change them out or
Yeah, I think
charge.
they're really
and-
good.
What? Sorry,
Might be a way to
there's
get
of
around it.
Getting around that.
There's
Yeah.
gotta be,
Need to have
because the
it-
idling, it doesn't
I
seem
mean,
like
that's
the
all.
right
Yeah,
solution.
no.
Accounted for-
We don't wanna talk about
It's
it.
just one of the current systems. There might be something else, but they might eventually come up with batteries that are they could do a whole lawn and then go to the next lawn and swap out the battery and just keep doing
Right.
it that way, you
Well,
know?
and if they had like a couple of their homeowners, they said, well, we'll give you a discount if we can leave a battery plugged in here,
Oh, yeah,
right? So that as they go around on their route, or they
Sure.
had, a couple of stops.
right. Hey,
Right.
I come with, this is one of the requirements. I'm cleaning your lawn, so I need tools and help you pay. I just, as an aside, the still dealer up at Litchfield Hardware said that Woodridge Lake has a noise ordinance,
Mhm.
not that. It just for our information.
Well,
But-
is it a private community? I wonder if they can,
Is Woodridge Lake a private community?
I think it is, yeah,
so they might be able to do that in a way that a
Yeah,
town
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Cause I was under the impression that we can't. We can't,
Okay, yeah.
legislate, landscapers.
But I was really glad to hear that,
You can offer.
all this electric gear is all mulch capable.
Okay,
You
yeah,
just
which is
buy
also
the
great.
kit, just like you would with a gas mower. Just different blades and a cover on your discharge chute. And, Lou Penny said he mows 46 lawns and he mulches 43 of them.
Oh, that's
This
great.
is only 6 that he can't because it's too wet and it doesn't work,
Yeah.
so I mean. if we
Well,
could-
so Lou Pitt, he's got a landscape, he's a mower in town,
Yeah,
so maybe
So
he's,
if they-
right?
yeah,
You just say, hey, what would it take for you to go electric? What kind,
What would you need?
what would you need? Would the property tax abatement be enough? Cause Lou's in town.
yeah.
I wonder if we invite him to a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the 4 that I know of are Bruzy, Ranieri,
Yep.
Carlquist, and Lou Penny. They're all in town. And there, of course, many that come from out of town. But,
That's a start.
be worth trying to find out.
Yeah,
With Barbara Braverman, it's approached Carl Quist, because he does her lawn, and he said he'd be willing to go electric.
They're on board with
Yeah,
all of this.
yeah.
We are.
Yes,
So
if
maybe
we're
a little
offering to help
incentive.
them, they're on board. I mean, why
Alright.
not?
We could also push the mulch question at the same time.
right.
While you're at it, just,
But at the
you
same,
know,
but also, if they are a desirable, if people are looking for quiet, they're the people that are gonna get hired.
Yeah, and we could certainly help promote that. We could
Yes,
write
we
an
could
article
promote
about
them.
that.
oh, look,
There are our green
Yeah.
guide.
Our
Right.
guide to quiet landscaping and non-polluting.
right,
Green is the new macho.
Well,
That's
that'll
a
do
macho in the minute.
It's on the
Yes,
recording,
we
but we
could.
won't need to.
that's a good idea. We could actually publicize who these guys are in town that are.
Going
doing it.
electric,
green.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Why not?
I agree.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what we-
and not because it's just good for the environment, but it's also quieter.
Oh, yeah,
Be a good neighbor,
Everybody
go
benefits.
electric, like,
Yeah.
Everybody.
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so.
And if you mulch, you don't need.
But you don't have to carry like gas around and
Yes.
smell.
Right, right,
Have to promote the advantages.
yeah,
Yeah, and talk about how, how we could help facilitate the battery recharging.
Yeah.
It might be a
That's a-
recharging
yeah,
station
that's a
at town
problem to solve.
garage, we got
Right.
batteries you switch out or something, I don't know.
yeah, okay,
So, I'll read this and we'll kind of try to
Yeah,
figure out their
that's
step by
great.
step
There you
on
go.
how Westport did it.
Mhm.
okay.
Good stuff. All right, last question, and Jay didn't write about it, but I thought he did. Did I miss it? I thought I was reading everything here. The no idling signs. Amy sent out 2 drafts. Cause we had talked about, cause we have a little bit of money left.
Oh, yeah, more signs.
Oh, yeah.
And so these are, they look the same, but one says, please no unnecessary idling, and the other says only necessary idling permitted. So I think this is a very nice looking sign. I
It's a
think,
Tough one to get people to do.
I know. It seems to
I
be.
don't get it.
I know.
I just don't get it.
So, and
I
I
know.
found,
Have it.
I
Yeah,
found a
just-
company online where you can upload your own design. They make metal parking signs. That, you know,
Wow.
like the
Oh,
normal, but you can
That's
upload
great.
your own. And they're very reasonable. It's $25.81 for an 18 by 12. So I brought my tape measure so we can see how much.
Oh,
So 12,
Yeah,
Wow.
12 is this wide.
yeah.
Do it so you guys can see that's 12. And this is 18. So I think
That's
that's
a good
plenty
size.
big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
Right? They make a bigger one. It's like 24 by something, but that seems a little excessive. So,
So your idea is to post a permanent sign at certain locations?
so here's what I think needs to happen, and Jay and I have talked about, we need to, before we spend money to make those, we need to make sure the selectmen are on board with putting them up.
Mm.
And I think it would be really helpful as a committee if we go out with your phones, or take a picture of places you think it would be good to put them. We gotta propose, we want 3 of them, and this is where we're gonna put them. And preferably on an existing post, because digging the hole to put a post in is, that's kind of pricey. So if there's already like I had a parking sign put on the median sign, for example, that was already there. Like if there's a stop sign or
Okay,
there's
Okay,
some kind of directional sign,
yeah,
it's preferable. So we don't have to dig up the plaza
Oh, okay.
or whatever.
Okay,
So think about that, or on a building.
3.
Like I was thinking here at town hall, I don't know that people idle here that much, but we have that one post
In
that has
front
the
of
hand
yes, they idle.
in front of the
Oh,
post
the
office.
post
Yes.
office.
Well, and so
Oh.
we should look and see if there's anything, is there a light post we could put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
on?
good look.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
post office definitely, or somewhere, maybe the food market.
I think you have to reiterate too, why you're doing it, you know, like how much exhaust in 3 minutes and, you know, and
Well,
how
our signs have all
bad
that.
for your
Our
car.
signs do, yep, and the postcard that we did, and we put it in the newsletter.
We need to do it again.
Again and
I
again,
know, I know.
yeah.
Because
Well-
most of us need the 55 repetitions.
Yes.
For it to sink in.
So,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we need to decide that if we're gonna try to do this with this year's budget. We need to take care of it in the next couple weeks before our next meeting, so,
Oh, yeah.
I'll talk to Jay
I mean,
about.
our old money,
So which sign do we want?
Well, so which language do you like better? We'll also ask the selectmen. I think it was Dean who wanted it to be in positive language, so.
I think
Only,
she tried
so
to-
the one without the no,
Yeah, so the other one says,
only
only
necessary.
necessary permitted.
It's kind of open-ended, isn't it?
Yeah, that's, oh, it's necessary.
Well, it's actually necessary is defined. Well, I think when you go to the deep
Ambulance,
regulation,
what else would be necessary?
well, the police cars aren't allowed to turn themselves off, but at least they're hybrid, so they shut because of their electronics in there.
There's gotta be a way around it.
Yeah, one would hope, but the cars do, unless they're running the AC as well, the engine turns off.
A
Because it's
lot of
like
new
they're hybrid.
cars do, so that might solve our problem for us if enough people buy the. new
Yeah, but it's the
signs.
trucks
Yeah,
and
it
the
is the
school
trucks.
buses.
Oh, but they're the worst.
They're really the
That should be
worst.
the easiest.
It should be.
Well, our
convert.
signs are out there.
I know, they're
They're
at the
out there.
schools, so
Well, and they should switch to electric buses.
We
there's
looked
an
into
issue with
that,
that.
yeah, our bus company is not interested.
They were
of course
interested
not.
until there was that bus fire.
Yeah, well, then there's.
Oh, there was, I didn't know
There was a
that.
school bus fire in Connecticut.
Electric, obviously.
Oh, God, that's a definite.
Yeah.
I
I
did some
forget.
research on
Yes.
All-Star.
I think it was Connecticut, maybe it was. New
All-Star
England.
has 35 terminals in 3 counties, 900 buses.
Oh, yeah, no, they're
They're
big,
big.
they're
If you
big.
could get them to
And
transfer.
we had a plan with the school board. We were gonna transition on our next
Really?
lease with them to go to electric.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why it fell through. I mean, we could ask the
Oh,
business
that's too
officer.
bad. Well,
Yeah.
maybe if they were willing
Yeah, let's
once,
find out what the
maybe.
issue was.
All right, so, I'll ask the business officer,
Again,
yeah.
it might be a question of incentives too.
Well, if it was on the table and then it got knocked off.
Well, there
We don't
is
wanna-
legislation. I mean,
There
Michelle,
was-
you know, I looked into that link you sent me to that conference in May on-
Oh,
on grants and so on. It was in New Haven.
okay,
It covered the legislation that provide in the infrastructure bill that was specifically dedicated to electrification of school bus fleets.
I forgot I
This is
sent that
good.
to you. I'm glad I
Yeah,
sent it.
no, I was
Yeah,
conflicted. I wanted to go, but it seemed like too big a thing to take on.
Yeah, it is a big
know?
one. Let me, I'll
That's
follow
so-
up with the business manager
know,
of Region
we'll-
12.
find out what it
I,
is.
I knew we had that in the works like 3 years ago when I was still on the school board, so,
well, good.
Right.
all right,
Okay.
Okay,
that's a great list.
Yeah.
Got a lot of,
Yeah, we did good.
a lot of
Good.
stuff
Summary,
happening,
I'll
and
keep-
I'll-
a lot
you
to
know.
work on. Take pictures of where you think the signs should
Okay.
go. I'll talk to Jay and see if we can manage. I mean, the thing is, they're not that expensive, so if we have to do it in next year's budget, that's fine.
Mhm.
But I don't wanna
So
order
pictures
them
of
if we
where
don't have permission.
Cars are idling and they shouldn't be.
Well,
Yeah,
and
and where
there's-
where we need to put these signs, preferably where there's an existing sign.
Okay. All right.
So, because I think the selectmen are going to want to know where we want to put them
Yeah.
before they approve
Yeah, I can see that.
that, putting them up.
Okay.
So, and how many, maybe one down at the pavilion by the, I
Mhm.
don't know if people idle down there by the,
Oh,
ball fields,
as an aside on another subject,
but at the schools maybe. Mm-hmm.
I did no mow May, but I think no mow May may be out.
What do you mean?
I read another article, it's okay to mow in Connecticut. Because of our climate and everything. This guy it's a very good argument, so I may not pursue that anymore.
Yeah, Amy was, when we were talking about it Earth Day too, like they're, even though it's a catchy phrase, no more May, people are really
But people
thinking
love
that
their
it's.
lawns.
Yeah, but there's also, it's not like great, in order to do what you're trying to do, they were talking about like just mowing like half of it and then the other half and higher.
Yeah.
We
It's
mow,
not-
make
it
it
doesn't
too
mean-
complicated, it's not gonna happen.
Right, well, that's the thing. that's
we
the
mow
thing.
sections of ours,
that-
where there's flowers, we
Okay,
left that
Yeah.
until,
Thank you.
really, till the end of May, but the rest of the stuff, cause there's ticks to be considered. And then.
Yeah, well, and if you let your grass get too long, then you actually kind of
It's-
kill it if you mow it if it's too
Yeah,
long.
yeah, no, we selectively mowed is what we said.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Basically, we just wanna have some pollinators available for the bees.
Yeah. What's nice is all my clovers are like
idea.
below the level of the lawn.
Yeah, we set it high. We have little strawberries growing too.
Yeah, me too. Oh, and violets, I have them like, nobody's business, and they're below the
Yeah,
level as
so
well,
it's pretty,
so.
yeah. All right,
All right, is that it?
yeah,
Sure.
Should we have a motion to adjourn?
yeah,
make a motion.
motion. Second it.
Okay, Carol, me,
Thank you.
say
Yeah.
5:57. Nice
Wow.
job, thank you. Oh, Brian's gone already?
Real Jay finds out.
Man.
He was outdone.